ranking every single NXT champion. This ranking will be based on how their NXT championship reign catapulted them on the main roster. Was it a hit or was it a miss? Let's get right into it. Seth Rollins, first ever NXT champion. He beat Jinder Mahal of all people and held that title for 133 days before debuting at Survivor Series with The Shield in 2012. And the rest is really history. Went on to become a massive star in the WWE and one of the most memorable cash-ins at WrestleMania 31. You all remember this one. A multiple-time world champion on the main roster, so this one obviously gets a hit. Big E Langston. He held the NXT Championship for 153 days, and when getting to the main roster, he obviously joined up with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. He's won multiple championships in WWE, including the Intercontinental title, the WWE Championship, and obviously numerous tag team championships with the New Day. He's still out of action at the moment, obviously with that neck injury. We hope that he comes back, but for everything that he's achieved in WWE so far, he gets a hit. Bo Dallas, 260-day reign as an NXT champion, and it really looked like he was going to be a big star leading to the main roster, but it just didn't happen really with the Miztourage, the B Team, and the Social Outcasts. He got released in 2021, but at this point in time, I'm going to give Bo Dallas a miss. But that could all change, obviously, because we know that Uncle Howdy is going to come back. What would it be then? Adrian Neville had a 286-day reign as NXT champion, but that didn't catapult him into the main event scene on the main roster. Instead, he dominated the cruiserweight division and then left to join AEW. He had a good reign in NXT, but that just didn't translate on the main roster. So for this one, I'm gonna have to give it a miss. Sami Zayn, a 62-day reign as a champion in NXT, and obviously he's one of the most memorable and one of the most loved wrestlers on the roster. But he has never held that title, that world title that he craves. And it kind of reminds me of Razor Ramon, really. A great wrestler who never got to the top. But there's still time for Sami Zayn. Either way, we've seen some great moments from Sami Zayn on the main roster, so this one gets a hit. Kevin Owens, 142 days, and like his best friend Sami, one of the most loved and, in this case, one of the most hated wrestlers on the roster. Being a Universal Champion and always seems to deliver in the big moments on the main roster, but I do really miss his prizefighter gimmick. It doesn't matter though, because it is Kevin Owens and he gets a hit. Finn Balor, 292 days in the first run and then 212 days in his second run. On the main roster, he was the first ever Universal Champion, but obviously that injury really screwed him up. But that didn't derail him. It didn't derail him at all. He never reached the top of the mountain again, but whether it's the Demon, whether it's the Prince, or whether it's Judgment Day Finn Balor, he always seems to deliver. I'm going to give Finn Balor a hit. Samoa Joe, 3 reigns, 121 days, 13 days, and then 20 days. I'm not really sure what happened on the main roster, but I really had Samoa Joe holding a Universal title or a World Championship of some sort. It just felt like we should have got another level from Joe, but we just never saw it on the main roster, so I'm going to give this one a miss. Shinsuke Nakamura, 91 days and then 56 days. In NXT, he was presented as a superstar. Like, honestly, blood, I thought that he was going to be the next big thing, but on the main roster, we all know how it's gone so far, don't we? It seems like he gets to a certain point and then bam, stop. He's had a few title reigns, nothing World Championship wise though, and he had that feud with AJ Styles, but there's nothing of note here with Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster, so I have to give this one a miss. Bobby Roode, 202 days as NXT champion, and his main roster run was meant to be glorious, but it was far from that. From that NXT takeover to Brooklyn entrance to basically being a jobber. What happened? Also that name change to Robert Roode. It just didn't happen, did it? Bobby Roode is so talented as well, so unfortunately this one gets a miss. Drew McIntyre, 91-day reign as an NXT champion, and who really would have thought that Drew McIntyre from the 3-man band would be where he is right now. After coming back, we saw Drew McIntyre transform into something different. From joining Shane McMahon, winning the Royal Rumble, becoming a WWE champion and a World Heavyweight champion, to the greatest feud going right now with CM Punk. This one gets a big, fat hit. Andrade, he had 139 days as champion, and I don't know about you, but I really miss Andrade and Zelina Vega together. They were just absolute gold. Of course, it never translated on the main roster. Andrade left to join AEW, but he came back at the Royal Rumble. We see a little bit of a different Andrade right now, but will it happen for him this time? I really hope it does, but up to this point, he gets a miss. Aleister Black, 108 days as NXT champion. And it's also so mad, this business, because last week I literally watched Malachi Black against Adam Copeland in a barbed wire cage match in AEW Double or Nothing. His main roster run in the WWE wasn't something special though, barring an undefeated streak, so this one has to get a miss. Tommaso Ciampa, 237 days and 111 days as NXT champion, 2 reigns. It's a tough one, this one, because I am basing it on how their main roster runs went. They were NXT champion. Did that translate on the main roster? Has Tommaso Ciampa been successful on the main roster up to now? Not really. So as to not contradict myself with the other ones, I have to give this one a miss. Johnny Gargano. He had 56 days as NXT champion. Again, the main roster hasn't really been kind to Johnny Gargano up to this point. We have had a reunion of DIY, but it's nothing like the black and gold, is it? I'm happy to give it time though, because we have got Triple H in charge again, but as of right now, I'm going to give Gargano a miss. Adam Cole, 403 days. One of the best runs in NXT with the Undisputed Era, and he is the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. But as we know, he never made it on the main roster full time. Apparently he was going to be the manager of Keith Lee, have a haircut, have all these changes, but I don't think that would have happened if Triple H was in charge. Adam Cole never made it to the main roster, so obviously this one has to get a miss. Keith Lee, 44 days, but do you remember that stare down with Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble? Then that Bearcat gimmick and whatever else they were going to do with Keith Lee. I mean, barring the Bearcat gimmick, we all thought that Keith Lee was going to be a star coming from NXT, but again, it just never happened, did it? This one for me is an easy miss. Karrion Kross, 3 days and then 136 days as champion. An unfortunate injury, but along with Scarlett, he had a longer reign on the second time and things were looking quite good. But the main roster was destined to fail when Vince McMahon put that mask on him and I don't even know what it was. I don't even want to remember it. Right now, they are trying something different with the Authors of Pain, but is it really going to get over? I don't think it is right now. So at the moment, we're getting a miss. Bron Breakker, 63 days, then 361 days as the NXT champion. A future star without a doubt, and at the right time as well, because Triple H is fully in charge. It'll be a slow build, but he was the face of the new NXT. I think I can safely say, even though he has only debuted the last few weeks or so, that this one is going to be a hit. Carmelo Hayes, 182 days. He was him on NXT, but we've not seen enough, I don't think, on the main roster at the moment. I'm 50-50 with Carmelo Hayes right now, but it looks like they are really, really behind him. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him a hit. Dragunov, 206 days as NXT champion. Yeah, my man is crazy, and I think he's going to be a star. I don't know about a main event star right now, but he's going to be something. We will have to see, but at the moment, he's only debuted in the last few weeks or so. So, again, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him a hit. Trick Williams hasn't been on the main roster yet, but every single person seems to know his chant already, which is a bloody good thing. It's over. He's a current NXT champion, but will his chant and theme be more over than he is once he gets on the main roster? That's the only danger, really. But we don't know that yet. That's far, far away in the future. But right now, he gets, for me, a hit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you think is a hit? Who do you think is a miss? And what NXT stars right now do you think are going to be hits in the future? Let me know all of that in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well.